In the previous video, I went over how to use the clip, buffer, and erase tools. In this video, I will show you how to create a variable distance buffer based on a buffer field. On the Humboldt State Geospatial online website, I am currently on step 89. However, for future reference, be aware that these numbers sometimes change. In this step, I'm trying to locate properties that have an area of at least 70,000 square meters. To do this, I will use Calculate Geometry to update the area field. Then I will use an attribute selection. Open the attribute table for the Properties Away from Wetlands layer. Right-click on the header name for the area field and select Calculate Geometry. You will see a warning. This message means that you are about to edit the shapefile outside of an edit session. Any change that you make is a permanent change to the shapefile that cannot be undone. This is fine, so go ahead and click Yes. Make sure the property is set to area and the units are set to square meters. Then click OK. You will see the same warning again. Go ahead and click Yes. The area field is now updated with values in square meters. Anytime you use an overlay operation like intersect, clip, or erase, areas and length values change, but the attribute table is not updated. You should always run the Calculate Geometry tool to make sure the values in the attribute table are updated. Use the skills you learned in the previous videos to select areas that are greater than 70,000 meters. Create a new shapefile from the selected records. Be sure to click the yellow file folder icon and save the file to your working folder. I'll call mine Areas Greater than 70K. Clear your selected records by clicking on the Clear Selected Features button. Remove the Properties Away from Wetlands layer. I have satisfied the sixth criteria. In the next few steps, I will create a variable distance buffer based on a buffer field. From the working folder, add the cell tower UTM-N layer to the table of contents. In this scenario, you have been given the location number and stable signal range for a selection of cell towers. To populate the buffer field, you'll give certain cell towers different buffer distances using the Select by Attributes tool and the field calculator. Open the attribute table for the cell tower layer. Using the menu on the upper left, add a field. I'll call the field Buffer. On step 101 of the instructions, it says that the values I'm going to use for the buffer field are 400, 1000, 5500, and 8000. Since these are relatively small numbers and there are no decimal places, I'm going to use the field type of short integer. Next, I'm going to use the Select by Attributes to select locations 7, 8, 21, and 25. When you write a compound SQL statement like this one, you need to write a complete expression on either side of an AND operator or an OR operator. With the record selected, I'm going to populate the buffer field using the field calculator. Right-click on the word Buffer in the attribute table and select Field Calculator. Click Yes when you see the warning. On the lower half of the field calculator, you'll see the words Buffer equals, followed by a white box. Enter 400 in the box to complete the statement Buffer equals 400. Then click OK. Notice that only the records that were selected received a 400. Repeat these steps for the rest of the cell towers. The next group will need a value of 1000. Then the next group will need a value of 5500. The last group will need a value of 8000. The buffer field is now ready to use. Close the Select by Attributes window and clear your selected records by clicking on the Clear Selected Features button. In the Arc toolbox, open the Analysis tools, then open Proximity. Double-click the Buffer tool. For the input feature, use the cell tower layer. For the output, click the yellow file folder icon and navigate to your working folder. I'll call the file Cell Buffer. Click the radio button next to Field, then choose the buffer field from the drop-down menu. Leave all the other settings as default, then click OK. You now have a layer made up of variable distance buffers. For the final step, I will narrow down our list of potential sites by determining which parcels fall within the range of the cell towers. The best way to do this is with a spatial query. Use the Select by Location to select the properties that are completely within the cell buffer layer. Use the areas greater than 70K for your target layer and the cell buffer layer as the source layer. For the spatial selection method, use are completely within the source layer feature. Make a new shapefile from the selected records. Be sure to save the file to your working folder. I'll call mine Final Candidates. When you are done, clear your selected records by clicking on the Clear Selected Features button. Remove all the layers from the table of contents except for the final candidates and the Humboldt County boundary. In the next video, I will show you how to create and export a map.